Hi, I'm Mina Malik Hussain, and you're watching The Coffee Table, and today we're with the band. I'm really excited because today we're going to be talking about indie music, and joining us on set today are two of the cool boys on the indie music scene. So joining us today is Shehzad Noor from Shorba Noor, who's already enjoying himself, and Ali Suhail from Sikandar Ka Mandir. Hi.
Hi.
Hello, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
I'm always really excited when I have musicians on the show because it's not very often. And no, I know, surprised. You'd be surprised.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I think you guys are hard to pin down.
We're hard to pin down?
Yeah, perhaps. So famous, so singing songs,
Is it
so famous.
and also
so like, check my black book.
it doesn't make for good TV, I think, because we're all suffering so much.
The angst. It's so hard to penetrate the angst. So Shehzad,
Yeah.
I'm going to start with you.
Yes.
So, you were one of the people who set up Poor Rich Boy, which was one of
Yeah.
like the big beginners on the indie music scene, and now you are a solo artist
Yeah.
called Shorba Noor.
Yes.
So why is it Shorba Noor? Do you like
Wha-
Salan?
Do I like Salan? I get that question a lot because
So original.
no, that's all right. I get that question a lot. There is absolutely no reason
Salan.
as to well, no, there's Salan in my life, but there's no actual reason as to why I call Shorba Noor. I mean, even when Poor Rich Boy came out,
Yeah.
I picked that name, and
Yeah.
people are like, what are you doing? In fact, one of the band members, I won't say who,
Yeah.
asked me, can we make it like Shorba Man? And I was like, and I was like, no, it's Poor Rich Boy. And
But is that a Richie Rich reference?
no, it's
Oh,
not. I was quite young back then, not anymore. I was complaining about something, and my sister just took like a long pause and just said, "You're a poor little rich boy." And ever
Yeah.
since then, I'm like, "That's it.
That's it. That's my
the name."
identity.
Yeah.
I found a group.
And after Poor Rich Boy, I was going to make this band with this friend of ours, Tusi.
Oh, okay.
Right,
Uh-huh.
Tusi.
Say.
Hey, shout out to you. And we were going to and we were just messing around. And we were going to call this band Shor.
Sure.
And then he's like, and then he said, because he's a cook, like Shorba. And I was like, that's awesome. So
Yeah.
we didn't eventually make that band, so I just stole that from
Evidently.
him. Yeah.
Because, then it would be someone else here.
Yeah, exactly. So I stole Shorba because I thought it was
Yeah.
hilarious, and I
Of
put
course.
my last name
Yeah.
on it. And it's really, I take myself really seriously with my music.
Yeah.
Everybody seems to think that that's the case, but with the name, I can't. Like it's too much. It would be too much if my band name was Pain and Misery.
Yeah.
It would be overkill.
It's true. And then people would assume that it was like A-levels band. Because, to just be like, pain. Or so much angst. So, Ali, are you angsty? So, no, but wait, I also like to begin at the beginning. So, for the benefit of my audience, what is indie music?
Indie music, just
Kind of in a
short
sort of
of it
nutshell.
is, in the nutshell, is just independent music.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
music that isn't backed by corporation or some sponsors or anything. It's just
Or a
music
record label.
or a label or anything. So it's
Or
just
beverage.
Indeed, corporations.
snuck that in there. But yeah, so that's just indie music. Indie music is most of the music being made here because a lot of people are just making music by themselves, making things and hiring, even if they're hiring producers or hiring studios and stuff, they're still doing that out of their own pocket. And since it's an independent thing, it's indie music.
So then I imagine that that's sort of creatively something that's pretty cool because then you have a lot of space to do what you want and you don't have like a beverage saying, put our brand in the lyrics or something like that.
Like theoretically, on paper, yeah, it's very cool. You get all the creative powers with the artist. All the then there's no person in the equation who knows better than you. There's just then you just this is what I want it to sound like, and that's what it will sound like because that's it. That's me.
Yeah.
But like in effect, though, there's a lot more things that aren't cool about it, but
Such as like no money,
Yeah,
and,
no
nobody who
money.
has like a platform that they can kind of
Yep.
like push your music out on.
Yeah.
The sort of advantages of a patron.
I guess,
Yeah.
huh?
I mean, you eventually have to do everything yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big ask of to say that everybody should not only just write their music, but they should also know how to produce their music. They should know how to market their music. They should know how to make the video even.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it's too much.
They have
of
to come up with
ask.
the concepts. They have to make the video. They have to put that out. They have to have a social media presence. You have to sort of be an influencer at the same time.
And that's like a huge job in itself. I find it exhausting.
Yep.
Like I try to sort of, have an Insta for this
Yeah,
show,
yeah,
and I'm
yeah,
just like,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, my fingers are tired. I can't keep responding. What do I do?
yeah.
but-
so
Oh, interesting. But Shehzad, I've been watching because research for the show, and there's this one video where you did it for the Smog Diaries.
Smog Sessions.
Smog Sessions.
Yeah, that was created by Misbah
Misbah.
Uddin, for his studio called RTF Studios. And he had these sessions, and he had a bunch of people come and perform live. Yeah, and I did one of those.
And that was super cool because, like, in terms of videos, it's like a mic and a squishy kind of armchair, and
Yeah.
it's like literally, isn't it some like plot with some like
It is.
old like you have some decrepit house in the background?
It's right outside his house.
Yeah, it was so cool. I love that. And I feel
It
like
was a great idea. Yeah,
it
it was
just
a
sort
great
of
idea.
get up and go under a tree, no gins under a tree. There's a whole
Was
thing.
it
Except
daytime?
us.
It was daytime, but
Okay,
apparently
that's
like some
crazy.
trees are owned by jinns, and you have to like ask before you sit under
Can
them.
I
But
play a
I
song
digress. I digress. Like indie music, jinns, amazing.
Indie music under trees.
Under trees. So Shehzad, tell me, you've been working on a bunch of new things. You've got an album out. I wrote it down. Right.
I
An
have
album called Sulphur Man.
yes, I
Yeah.
have 2 albums out actually.
Ooh, what's the second one?
The other one is called Panic Sleep.
Okay.
So the first one is Sulphur Man. It's really a compilation of all the songs that were rejected.
By whom?
Well, just by the general consensus of the band itself, and just all the other chote mote stuff. I just compiled them together.
bits and bobs.
4 bits and bobs.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I compiled them together, and they're not very good quality. Not the songwriting itself. That's excellent. No,
Because you wrote it.
Okay. No, the sound quality isn't great, but I just put them together
Yeah.
and I called it Sulphur Man and I put it out. And then after that, I worked with Raki Jamil on an EP called Panic Sleep, and that basically has 2 proper songs, and the rest is just spoken word.
Oh, so it's like it's a song, but then you're also doing spoken word. So you're a poet, and you don't even know it. Could see where I was going
I
there.
have some idea for it, though. Like,
Yes, I was just being ironic, but okay. Thank you, Ali. Okay, but what's an EP? What's an EP?
it's
Other than
short
like
form.
the band of
Yeah,
yours.
It's I think it's a short form for extended play record.
Okay.
EP. There's there's LP and there's EP. LP is long play records. EP is extended play records. EPs are shorter than long play records. Long play records are feature. I guess like in movie terms, it would be considered a feature length record, where it would
Like 2
be
hours long.
like an hour long at least.
Hour
Like a tape would be an hour long.
Okay, it's like side A. Side B.
Yeah. So an EP would be shorter. It would have like 5
side.
songs. or
Okay, so it would be like one side of a cassette as
yeah,
opposed to 2 sides.
basically.
Yeah, I miss cassettes.
Same.
It's like the kids, like my kids don't know. I had a T-shirt that had a cassette on it, and they were like, "What's that?" And I was like, "Cassette," and they were like, "What?" I'm like, oh,
So you have to like
I'm
now.
like, okay.
It's a transformer.
Yeah, it's a computer from.
It's a floppy disk. And you're like, oh, wait. So Ali, do you think that technology has helped indie music?
Definitely.
Yeah, because the
Technology
internet.
has basically birthed indie music.
Yeah.
Like I don't think if it wasn't for the internet and if it wasn't for technological advancements in like recording technology, I don't think people would be able to do these things from home to begin with, right? and piracy. But
I love piracy. But speaking of piracy, I was trying to listen to the song from Chale The Saath that you did, and you have to buy it.
but
You have to buy it. And I was
But-
like, oh, I have to buy it.
yeah.
But that's good. That's good.
I guess,
Artists get money.
Sure. Although the movie is probably gonna get that money. I don't know.
Industry.
But somebody should get money.
So, Ali, talking of like videos, such as, well, not a video, like working for a film is like this completely different thing. But when it comes to videos, and you've got Sikandar Kamandar has videos, and Shehzad, you guys do videos as well. So, like, who comes up with the idea? Like, how do you conceptualize videos?
Well, in terms of just Sikandar Kamandar, Nadir, the vocalist, he also does film and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So he normally takes charge of the videos. In terms of like my solo project, I normally shoot things and then either get an editor to just edit random things that I've shot together, or just edit them myself, or sometimes I have nice friends who go like, oh, I can
do that for you,
Thank
no
you.
problem. So we are just going to quickly show like a clip from a video from Noor. So who did that?
Oh, that was done by Tabish Habib.
Okay.
He, a friend of mine. I basically went over to his house and I'm like, just take any footage you have, put it together, and just get it over and done with. You know, just to make a small comment on what Ali said about technology helping us out, and that's true at birth in the indie scene. But for me personally, it also restricted me to my room, and that was really difficult for me. I personally enjoy playing in front of an audience.
Yeah.
So that's why all my videos that make little to no sense, and they're just like quickly get it done. So over here he had footage from Lucky Rani Circus, and it was really nice. And yeah, this song is called Merchant.
Well, that is fantastic. And I think you're downplaying it by saying, oh, we just threw a bunch of clips at it. And that's beautiful. And that whole sort of idea of people in a circus who are kind of liminal figures themselves.
Yeah.
And the idea of dying and doing these dangerous things. So you're kind of literally sort of on the brink of death at any point. Like, you know, literally if you're in a maut ka kuan and you're just going round and round this well on a motorcycle, you could fall off and die at any moment.
Yep.
But it's all for entertainment.
It's all for entertainment. I wonder, like, what motivates somebody to do such a thing. And the line in the song is to die it is sweet and to die it is pure. And I mean, not that I'm saying that one should... But I'm in that
Don't try this at home, kids.
in that same mind for those people at least, I wonder if there's some kind of transcendental quality to it. I wonder, and honestly, I think a song doesn't necessarily have to be about a thing. It can be an exploration about a thing, and this song did just that. It explored that idea.
Yeah.
That death and absence, really. Those are the two things.
That's really heavy, and we're going to take a quick break to ponder on death and absence. And we will be back in 1 second. Don't go away. Welcome back to the coffee table. We're talking music and having tons of fun with Shehzad Noor from Noor and Ali Suhail from Sikandar Kamandar. So guys, I write poetry, but I don't write songs. How can I write songs?
Just put
Either one of you. Because do
music
you
to
write
your-
songs as well, Ali?
Yeah.
Yeah, both of you write songs.
My process is opposite, but you could just put some music to your poetry and you have a song.
Yeah, that's why Leonard Cohen of you. You know, like Suzanne started out as a poem, and then someone was like, hey, you should make that a song. And he was like, cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then he did. I should have a friend who would do that to my poems. Wink, wink.
Songs are kind of like the mixed media of the visual arts world. So there's like a combination of things that are going on at the same time. So it's, there's literature, there's poetry, and you're drawing from all these things that you've read. At the same time, there's music as well that's going in tandem in that. And I would argue that there's a third thing, which is the actual performance of it.
Yes.
Again, coming back to wanting to perform on stage.
Yeah.
And I think the combination of those three things, like people sometimes, they're like, okay, I've written the lyrics or I've written the tune separately. They're two separate things. Now, how do I make that connection? And I think the idea is to not see them as separate things, to really see them as coming from the same place. That, and in my experience of having taught not songwriting, but just music in general, it's always about courage. Taking that first step that you're going to reveal a side of yourself. You're going to reveal something. And once you're there, I think the rest is just coming to terms with your own voice.
That's really interesting, like coming to terms with your own voice. And I think that's the sort of magic of doing something like this, is where it's not just an isolated process. So it's sort of like a two-step thing where you have to kind of be honest with yourself in order to write and make a song and make music and then perform it. And so is it scary to be on stage in front of people?
Every time.
Yeah, it is? Every time?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. Like initially, like that first song is terrifying, and then after that, you're like, okay, I'll chill.
Yeah,
And then
okay,
you can
we're understanding each other.
Yeah, there's like a connection made now. Now we can carry on.
Yeah. So what is a good audience for you guys? Like what's a good audience?
So what I've noticed in general, the trend of audiences over here is that people aren't fans of musicians, they're fans of songs. So songs of like old songs or current hits on the beverage thing. And
they're like, oh, can you sing that song?
yeah, basically.
And you're like, not a covers band.
A lot of like the session gigs that I play, people start making demands from like as soon as the artist gets on stage, they start making demands. And until they're done, like until you do that song, they're not going to stop. So
really, it's that relentless.
Yeah. So
Wow.
you play that song and then they'll start, or you play another song and then they'll start keep chanting, "Kidney, I want that song."
Oh, wow. So that is like the antithesis of a good audience is don't do requests.
Yeah. And like just, so if you, like I play for mainstream artists as well. And it's really interesting that people there aren't really there for them or their music. They're there for one song.
Oh,
and that's how you sort of, that's one way to also retain your audience for the whole show, because then you can just play that song at the end and be like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
But
I'll do it, but you just have to sit through the whole concert till we can get to, underneath the watchtower.
just you have to suffer through all of the art that I made for you.
Yes.
And then just this one thing.
I'm pouring my heart and soul and combating the terror of my heart to be here.
Yeah, but a good audience, I think, would be somebody who's there for you as opposed to somebody who's there for that one song that they can Google and listen to at home.
Or like, listen to it in the car in the mornings. And I'm like, I love it so much. I love the band because I love the song. I hate them. I hate it so much.
Just to add to that, there seems to be this lack of demand of newer material.
Yeah.
You feel that?
Yeah, definitely.
Even as in our separate outfits, like I get more requests about the songs, all the songs that I wrote for Porridge Boy. And then I'm like, okay, I have all this new material.
Stuff.
Same.
And
I'm working on my 6th album right now.
6?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
prolific, brother.
He is very prolific. He's helped a lot of people. He's got a huge khair.
Thanks.
Yes.
No. But going back to the exact same thing that you were saying, the people, even if I get somebody who's like, oh, I like your music, they're going to just ask for music from my first record. and that's it.
Which means that they just listened to the first one and they were like, this is good, I'm going to stick with
Yeah,
this.
this
And then don't follow up on
Yeah.
newer music?
It's, I guess, which is strange because growing up, I would want to explore artists that,
Yeah,
like, if I
exactly.
liked a song, I'd be like, oh, what were they like before this? What
Yeah.
were they like after this? What? And that's not there anymore. It's like, oh, this
so
is, this. I just want to chronicle this. Just don't change. Don't ever change.
Just stay like this.
Just be this.
Sing the same
Attention
song.
span thing? An attention span?
Could be.
Maybe.
Could be.
But I don't think that sort of generally audiences here at least are so kind of musically uncultured. I think we do have a kind of musical,
Yeah, we do.
a pretty strong musical tradition,
Yeah.
east or west, but people listen to things, and the radio
Yeah.
has made a real comeback over
Yeah.
the past sort of like 10-ish years, which I imagine is a good place to share music as well.
Yeah.
But it's just surprising to me that people don't listen to the new stuff. That's strange. Maybe it's just
okay.
like, do you think that maybe people feel insecure? That, oh, I like this one song, so
I don't know. Like, it's like you're going to order the pizza that you like, I guess, every time, and it's just like a general sort of, if you're the sort of person who wants to try new things and the sort of person who's like, okay, I know this, I like this, I know this, I know that this will be a satisfying experience. I don't want
Yeah.
anything else.
So I think, again, like audiences, people are not homogenous. Like, so a good audience is somebody who is willing to listen to the new stuff and to sit through the new stuff.
very
Yeah.
important. Don't leave in the middle of a song. That is just bad manners.
It's
In
really
any kind of concert, if you want to leave, you wait till the end of the song, dudes.
turn off your phone.
Yeah. Just put it on silent. Just
Yeah, like it's not. If it's an emergency, it'll vibrate.
Yeah,
And then at the end of the song,
and
you
then
can
you can
go.
use it
Exactly.
for your emergency.
And you're like, I don't think any of you do songs that are more than like 3 minutes long. So it's not like some 6-minute extended version. It just keeps going on and on.
Sometimes.
Sometimes,
You can leave.
sometimes we will be self-indulgent.
It's been a while.
Excuse me for 1 second while I express myself. I haven't connected with myself in ages. I must do this.
I need an audience.
Please watch me validate me.
Love me, love.
I have this story. I don't know. Do you have time for a story?
Yeah, we always have time for a story.
I had this friend who had he had learned how to play the guitar before me.
Oh.
No, that's not the point. That's not the
Okay,
point.
that's not the story.
It's just that every time, I don't know if you've ever had that friend, every time he would pick up the guitar and play me something, he would look straight into my eyes.
Oh.
And he had this sort of
Widow's
kind of
Peak?
no.
Oh, this
It's
is
almost sad. Almost sad expression. Okay,
What do you think?
do you like it?
validate me.
Validate me. And I was just like, you don't need to do this.
Stop staring at me.
Have some self-respect. It's okay. Make a mistake. It's fine. Oh, Khair. I
Oh
wanted to
gosh,
tell
no,
this
but let's
story.
just staring into your eyes and be like, love me now.
Yeah.
But in a way, he was willing you to be a good audience.
Just
Yeah.
Be my audience.
like hostage situations. You will love this.
Yeah. But is it amazing when you have when you have audiences that sing along? And if you can
It's
do
really
this,
beautiful.
It's
they sing.
It's a beautiful experience.
Yeah, like I've had this a couple of times. Yeah, where people would just break out into dance, and that's like,
Whoa.
That's great.
Yeah.
that's a really cool experience.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And I think especially for us here in Pakistan, we don't have that many outlets to just kind of be chill and just kind of just allow yourself a natural response to something. And I feel like music and concerts is where you can kind of let loose in a fairly unself-conscious way. Like even on like some like college campuses, they're like, don't dance. We'll have a Bhangra concert where you can dance. And like, what?
Well, the men will have a Bhangra concert.
Yes,
Yeah.
we've seen those.
Yeah.
And the ladies are like, or not there at all.
Not there at all.
Yes. So anyway, on the sour note, we are going to now watch a little video from Ali here. And tell us about it.
It's a song off of my last album. My last album called Pursuit of Irrelevance.
Pursuit of Irrelevance.
Yes. The song.
Why did you call it that?
I was trying to be funny, and I was trying to be.
See, none of us are laughing.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Okay.
I really liked the record, and I was like, yeah.
I'm sure it's a good record.
And there's this Ornette Coleman record, this jazz record called The Sound of Jazz to Come, which was such a statement. And I just thought that's
just
like, yeah. So
listen to this. This is the sound of the future.
This is what
Yeah.
it will be. And I was like, that's amazing. I want to do the exact opposite of that. So I just,
This is not the sound of the future.
This will get
just
you.
listen to it
Yeah.
and love me. So what is the song called?
The song is called Awazein.
Awazein.
And it's about, what is it about? It's about social anxiety. Social anxiety.
Social anxiety.
Yeah.
Well, that's super relevant.
I guess.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah.
Okay. Hi, welcome back to the coffee table. We're listening to songs and having an amazing time on the coffee table with like our indie boys on set. Indie boys. Make some noise for the indie boys.
Indie men.
Indie men. Let's not get it wrong. So guys, you both of you have day jobs because you do have bills to pay.
Yeah.
Do you think is it just like a subset of being like an indie musician that it's not that mainstream, so it sort of just becomes a thing that one does on the side or parallel to another more kind of bill-paying job?
Your question is that
My question is that is it sort of if one is an indie musician, is having a day job going to just be part of how it is?
I would say that it's a good idea unless you have somebody supporting you. I have a family, I have a kid, so I don't have that. So I need my day job, and I've been working for the last 6-7 years as a teacher.
Yeah.
So it's just a part of what it is, but that's not specific to indie musicians.
Just sort of.
Well, I mean, anybody who's trying to make it right now should keep their options open and should diversify. Even if they want to stay within the arts, I think that's a good skill to have. Like if you are a songwriter, that's fine. If you have any kind of inkling, like sort of a desire or a proclivity towards theater, you should maybe write a play or something. Yeah, and I think that's in this day and age, that's really, really important.
Yeah, but it's weird, isn't it? But you guys have been on the scene for a long time now. But the indie scene has always been kind of chugging along for a while now.
Yeah.
But why isn't it more mainstream? Is it just because indie music is not supposed to be mainstream?
No, it's because of the soda. Because of the beverages.
The beverages have co-opted our music. Have they, do you think?
No, not necessarily. It's a whole bunch of things. I think there are indie musicians who are making waves. There are indie musicians like, say, Abdullah Siddiqui is doing amazing things, and he's sort of also overridden a lot of things that we've had to deal with, but where he's just been picked up because it's so good and it has international value to it. But I don't understand that urge of like, no, I don't want to be mainstream. Everybody
Like, why
wants,
shouldn't you be? It's about reach, isn't it?
Yeah.
About having a wider audience, about sharing your music with as many people as possible.
Yeah. If you're making something for people to listen to, then you're going to want as many people to listen to it.
Yeah.
You could have some, what's the word?
Well, I mean,
What's the word? Teach?
Reservations, I guess, towards like how you want to get there, because then there are people who are like, if we are going to support you doing this, then you have to do it our way. And that's a problem that people might have. But if you're not getting to change your music or you're not getting to change your voice, then I don't see how anybody should have a problem with it.
Yeah, you can retain your musical integrity,
Yeah.
but also if someone wants to help, then take it.
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah.
Basically.
But it's also difficult to get music out in the sense that we don't have a lot of streaming platforms, for example. And I understand that it's expensive to kind of put your music on iTunes or Spotify. Like, how does it go?
Okay, so he would be able to answer this better, but I don't think it's expensive. It's just not very lucrative unless you're like a superstar.
Yeah.
Right?
Basically. Like, it's not. If I don't think you can make money through music here.
Right, yeah.
Like, unless you are doing corporate stuff. If you're doing jingles, if you're doing any kind of, you need some kind of corporate backing, or even if you're doing corporate shows. But if you want to make your own voice, you want to make something unique to you, and then you want to put that out into the world and be like, hey, everybody, listen to this thing that you haven't heard before, and everybody, you should like it. You're not going to make money from it because people are going to be like, okay, this is nice, but I'm not gonna
pay money for it. Oh man!
That's just the general consensus here. I think people there's an understanding that you don't pay for entertainment.
Which is ridiculous because so much work and effort goes into it. And both of you write your own songs and you're writing music. But in terms of reach, do you think that, Shehzad, you write in English?
Yeah.
And Ali, you write in English and Urdu. Do you think that the Urdu songs go out to a larger audience, or is it just kind of more or less the same?
Definitely go out to a larger audience.
I think with Poor Rich Boy, back when we were doing the thing, that might have been an exception. And the only other band I can think of that did English music that had some following, and I mean following in the loosest term possible, because it was a very
like
small
20 people who would listen to it.
Yeah. It was Coven.
Yes.
Coven. Coven.
Back in the day.
Back in the day. And I'm a big Coven fan because, not just because they're amazing musicians, they're also really good people. They help Poor Rich Boy. Not a lot of people know this, but with Poor Rich Boy, I would have no platform if it hadn't been for Coven and the guitar school giving us that platform to perform and tour with them. Yeah. So yeah.
That's amazing. And everybody should look out for each other in the community.
They did it.
Yeah.
They did it.
No.
I don't know if that happens as often anymore, at least. I don't know, but
and
it started off like that. There was a lot of
camaraderie,
and brotherhood in the music scene, but like I don't know, it's sort of just.
But do you feel like
spread out.
Music festivals, like the Lahore Music Meet, for example, which is now I think in its third year, fifth year.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a while.
Yeah,
it's been sort of. I think that the great thing about that is that it's sort of been consistent. Like it happens every year. It's happening consistently. It's this great platform. Do you think that festivals like that are also a good way to kind of remind everybody that you're all in this together?
Definitely.
Yeah, sort of.
Especially with LMM, I think that's like a thing unto itself. I don't think there are other festivals, music festivals going on, but like there's a very home vibe to LMM for some reason that I don't really feel in other festivals. There's a very like, okay, guys, this is our thing. We have to make it happen.
Yeah.
It's inclusive.
Yeah, it's very inclusive. Thank you. And like even the audience there is very like diverse. There's a lot of like you will get 60-year-olds and 6-year-olds in the same like audience.
Space.
And and everybody will be having the same amount of fun.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
amazing.
really-
I love that. Every time I
Yeah.
go, everyone is just rocking out, and you're like,
Yeah.
this is really good. And some dancing also sometimes as
Yeah,
is happening, which is also really cool because you don't think of indie music as dance music. Where you're just like, you sort of do this, but you're not like.
People find a
Which
way.
is great.
It's all about spaces.
Yeah.
Just creating spaces for any kind of art. It's just all about that. I mean, sure, we can do whatever we want online. I personally believe that really, unless people are coming out to watch shows, and those shows are happening, and people are not getting in the way of that, not making it harder to have a show, not making it harder to have venues, like the venues that I play in are small, and they're
Few and
very
far
small.
between.
Exactly,
Yeah.
they're few and far between,
Yeah.
and I think if we can develop a culture of creating more venues and spaces, then I don't think it should be too much of a problem. Plus, like, I mean, if I do make any money through the music,
When?
yeah, it's
Positive vibes. Manifest it.
well, it's through the live shows, and that's how I
Right.
want to do it. It makes the most sense to me. It's otherwise I lose my mind.
Yeah, and a
with
live
the-
show, I think, I imagine, I go to live shows, I feel like I have the most fun there as well because it's that immediacy of contact between a performer and an audience. And then you can do anything, you can stop, you can start, you can, do your guitar solo for 5 minutes and everyone is like, but it's great. But before we kind of now talk about that third song on this show, it's been a bonanza of shows, of songs, shows. Bonanza of songs. This is great. See, you can see my mind is so blown. But as indie music, one always thinks of indie music as angsty.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think it is? I mean, a lot of the songs that both of you guys write, which I listen to, it's a lot of there's a lot of introspection about a message and social awareness also, and using your voice and kind of speaking truth to power in many ways.
I guess I don't know. I can only speak for myself, but like I don't know. My thing is more just mostly just introspection and just being like, hey, I felt a weird thing, and I want to put that out there. And if you feel that too, then I guess we have a connection. And you're not just a weirdo.
You're not just thinking these thoughts alone.
Yeah. So that's my intention behind it. I don't know if like there's. I don't really
I don't
care
want to
about
say there's a
social
moral to
commentary.
the song because we like
like
to be like, what's the moral of the story? And they're like, there's no moral. Sometimes it just is.
Yeah.
But I feel like in a lot of ways, like at least with indie music, maybe music in general, but I feel like with indie music, it's much more personal somehow. And I think that there's a sort of a different level of connection because it is more introspective.
Yeah.
It has the space to do that.
Yeah.
It has the opportunity to do that. And not all indie musicians are going to be like that. Some would like to come forward with a message. But the people you have on your show right now
Introspection.
are the introspective type.
Yeah. So tell me about this song. You guys have collaborated on it with a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just super interesting. And a lot of sort of clips that repeat themselves. And what was going on there?
He made the video.
You made the video. Tell us everything.
I like making boomerangs off of Instagram, and then I was like, oh, I have these bunch of boomerangs, and then I just put them together.
Which
and
is
that
really
was the
fun.
video.
It's sort of like a fresh approach also, where people can relate to that.
I
zigzag
guess,
there.
yeah. We had been wanting to put that song out since a while, and we were looking for videographers or somebody to make the video with. The initial idea was just to get Tusi, the friend he mentioned, to just get him to cook an egg. And that'll be the music video.
Do the egg, man. So why is it called Big Ol' Deities?
Oh, yeah. So there's a story. It's about these false gods that are kind of taunting a group of people. And these,
That's kind of interesting also. Like, you have false gods that don't necessarily, they're false. And then you think much of them, and they actually don't think anything of you.
Yeah.
So it's like
Got it.
all your devotions are for nothing. Or just kind
Yeah.
of misdirected, if anything. Sort of.
I'm sorry. I went to some other place right now, and you know why?
Yeah.
Because I forgot what the song was about. Again,
Okay,
and I needed time to remember what it was
To
about.
go there.
But like, yes, ostensibly, that's what it was about.
Okay, cool. So we are going to let you guys decide what the song is about. Thank you both so much for being on the show.
Thank you so
It's
much
been
for
an
having
amazing
us.
conversation.
I loved
Had a
it.
fabulous time. I know you guys really enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. Look these guys up. Listen to their music. And when you go to their next concert, sing along. Here's Big Ol' Deities. We'll see you next time on the coffee table.